my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. So in this episode, I'm going to be discussing with you, should you hear someone out before you let them go? First of all, if you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book. I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, which is an autobiographical superhero style book. So grab your copies from Amazon of those. So yeah, if you watched my video yesterday, you will know that sadly I had to let a friend go. I had to block a friend on Facebook. Now, I've been friends with this guy for like 3 or 4 years, I think it is. I think since at least 2018. And he was someone I consider a very dear friend. And I've been really upset today, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do this stream, and I might not still be able to do for very long because I've been crying a lot. So I had to block this person on Facebook because they friended one of my friends, and it's not the first time they've done this. And in the past, when I first met them, they were going around randomly friending women abroad, particularly in the UK, I think, to basically get a job, visa, money, whatever, So they weren't a good guy when I first met them. And then over the time I've got to know them, they seem to have really changed, and they said they've changed. But then I think it was at the beginning of this year, they all of a sudden there was a mutual friend of mine that they got as their friend, and there was no need for them to friend this person, because it's not relevant to them all their life. Do you know what I mean? This person was a coach, and it's just not relevant. It's an older woman in the UK. And then, so I got really skeptical about that, and I asked them about it. I didn't break friendship with them then. I just asked them about it, and they said, oh, I thought they might have a job for me in the UK and stuff like that. So I'm like thinking that's not a very good excuse, because this woman's a coach. You pay people who are coaches for their services, not they give you money to work for them. It doesn't work like that. And so anyway, this is the excuse he gave me. And then he said, well, in the people you may know, I do randomly just request people you may know, friendship like that. And to me, a guy who does that and goes around friending random women who he doesn't even know is just not a good guy. I don't think, in general, because there's no need for someone to be doing that. It's, what's the intention? What's the implication? Why are they doing it? Do you know what I mean? He's not running a business or anything like that. I think he's still out of work. So anyway, then he friended one of my friends, and she's an older woman again in the UK. And to me, it's the same sort of pattern, that he's still doing what he said that he'd stop doing. And so there's no need for him to be friends with my friend. He didn't know, I don't think, that she was my friend. Hi, Princess Sandra. Great to see you, sweetheart. Oh, nice to see you, Liam. Thanks for your support and being here. Yeah, so anyway, I couldn't trust him anymore, and I said on Facebook, basically, I left him some messages and said I'm gonna have to block him, because obviously I don't want him going through. He can't go through my friends list because it's on private on Facebook, but Facebook have this thing come up coming, it says people you may know, and it usually is your friends on there, so they Facebook will recommend people to you that are friends of your friends, right? So anyway, I had to block him on Facebook because my friend who was in chat last night, as you know, Liam, she doesn't want to be bothered by guys and sending random friend requests. And a lot of women don't want to be bothered by stuff like that. And to me, there's absolutely no reason for him to be doing that other than bad intentions and not good, and kind of like an insecurity and ego thing or something. So, So yeah, anyway, I blocked him on Facebook. I did send messages before and send voice messages. And anyway, he came on Gmail today because I hadn't blocked him on my email. I didn't block him for my business pages either, but I had to block him for my personal because I wasn't about to let him friend any more of my friends because it's not right. And I want to protect my friends, you know. And anyway, so he emailed me to try and explain, but he lost a sweetheart angel. You'll always be my best friend. Ah, thank you, Liam. That's really sweet. And so anyway, so he did email a couple of emails to try and explain things, but again, he just seemed to lie because he said, he said basically he's getting help for mental health, which I think is good. He's getting some therapy. So it's good that he admitted that. I like that in a guy. I think that's nice quality to admit he's getting some help for that. I appreciate that. You know, because some guys are not willing to say that there's any problems in their life and face them. So I really appreciate that. So he told me that. But then he said, oh, he used that as an excuse that he isn't friending women. But he did friend my friend, as you know, because she was here in chat yesterday. So clearly he's not telling the truth and he's lying about that. And, you know, he's basically making out he's not in a fit state to be friending women. It's not true. So anyway, in the conversation, his point of view is he was getting friends on his personal profile, which he was then sharing my pages to, and you know, my videos and stuff. And so he was doing everything for me, you know, to make me happy, which I don't believe this guy is abusive. I don't believe he's a narcissist. He hasn't shown me those qualities. However, I do think it's a bit deceptive and manipulating to say that the reason he friended all these women were for my own benefit. It seems a bit like not great. But in general, I do not think, you know, like some people may do one thing wrong that's not good. And I would say that's a not good thing. But in general, he's not abusive. He's not narcissistic. I haven't seen those qualities in him at all, which I'm really happy about. But obviously, the reason why I've had to block him is because of his dishonesty. You know, that's where he's not been good. But I do think trying to say it for all my benefit. So he said he was doing it to make me happy, and with good intentions about me. You know, the fact I've been friends with him for so long, that part of me really wants to believe that's true. But even so, he's categorically said outright that he can't friend request people at this time because he's getting therapy, and it's completely not true. So that is a blatant lie. And then he's going on to say, well, I don't message women anymore. And he said, you know, I might have requested them, but I didn't, you know, he's kind of changing the story a bit to say that if he did request anyone, it would only be to promote my pages on his profile. I do know that his profile was absolutely covered in my YouTube videos, my Facebook pages, not just one page, multiple pages, and it was pretty much all about me. I do know that I'm categorically sure because I saw all the stuff, you know. No, it's hardly only of his own posts. So I know that bit is true that he was doing that, and he was always. But you know, I don't believe that he was friending all these women for my benefit. I mean, why would I need these women to be friended by him for my benefit? You know, I mean, I didn't ask him to do that. And you know what I mean? The women that are already friends with me, they already know the work I do anyway. You know what I mean? So that didn't really make sense. You know, because you know, like he said, I don't know who your friends are, but there was one woman that he did friend. I asked him about the woman coach, and it showed on his profile that she was a mutual friend. So he knew full well, mutual friend of mine. So he knew full well that she was my friend. So that wasn't a reason for him to be friends with her because she knew about my work. But his excuse at the time for that was that maybe she can offer him a job in the UK. You know, but she's a coach. like I said, so coaches, you pay for their services. You don't go and ask them for a job, right? Coaching is usually a solo activity done by one person, to one to one or one to many. You know, it's like someone coming to me and saying, oh, can I be an asexual coach for you? It's like, well, no, a coach is a coach. You don't get to actually work for someone as a coach unless someone's got a major coaching company, in which case they franchise it all. You know what I mean? It's just absurd. And so I just thought that was a really feeble excuse, you know, and it's sad because I kind of want to believe him in part, but you know what I mean, when he's blatantly saying in his email, oh, I'm not in a fit state to be, I can't friend anyone at this time, but basically he has done. I mean, he didn't message my friend, he didn't say anything to her, but he did friend her, and it's like, why are you collecting all these friends, random women, what for? And I'm particularly suspicious because it's older women in the UK, and I know that's what he used to do in the past. You know, for his own benefit. And so that's not good. But he keeps insisting that he said to me, I can't lie. And I'm like, well, you have lied, you know? And so I even remember him a long time ago, you know, saying he would try and get into the UK because me and him liked each other more than friends. But then eventually I just, you know, I just couldn't believe him because he wasn't telling the truth. And he did say to me once, oh, I am actually looking for the UK now, for real, you know? So clearly he was lying before about that, you know? So there has been some dishonesty there. And it's just really sad because I look back and think, oh my gosh, at all the friendship years we've had. He used to, on his older profile, not this one, tag me in his posts with his friends. So it's like I was always part of his life, and it was almost like I was with him in his life over there because he was tagging me, even though I live in the UK. And then I've met some of his, I met some of his ex-work colleagues when he was in his own place. I saw him there. I've met some of his family at a wedding, wedding reception, I think it was. And so, you know, he invited me into that with his camera and stuff. And so I felt really like he did really, really care about me, you know. And I seem to have a huge bond with this guy. I don't know if I have friendship, love for him, or just a really, really deep care about him. I am aesthetically attracted to him. I do have romantic attraction for him. And he admitted a while ago that he did for me. And at one point he said someone thought I was his wife. Not that I want to get married, but his family members, I think, or friends saw that because obviously he's included me in his life quite a lot, which I was grateful for. So it's really difficult because, you know, he's always been there in the background saying I'm always, you know, I'm always with you, and he's always been there for me quite a lot. And so it's really difficult because I feel really bonded to, I feel like really upset, like I've been crying for hours, a bit like when you split up in a relationship, but it's not totally the same because in a relationship you kind of have like real strong love, romantic love feelings for someone, and it's kind of a bit different feeling. But this is similar but not the same. So it's like a deep friendship, maybe even friendship love, and it's like, you know, you having to tear yourself, I can't really speak about it for very much longer. You have to tearing yourself away. It's really getting to me now. I don't know if I can speak about it much more. Anyway, God, sorry, I'm really upset. But I'm sure if you've got friends that you can relate, because I know that asexuals really value friendship a lot, because obviously, you know, we're not into sex and stuff. So when you're having to let a friend go, it's really hard, you know. And to answer the question on this video, should you hear someone out, it really depends on the circumstances. In this particular case, I did want to hear him out because we have been friends for 3 or 4 years. He's not a narcissist, he's not an abuser. You know, he's healthy in those ways, but obviously being dishonest and not telling the whole truth is not a good thing. And so I couldn't hear, you know, if he hadn't have contacted me, I wouldn't have contacted him because I blocked him on Facebook, and it's not for me to make amends when he's the one that's hurt me. But you know, but I did hear him out because I thought, give him, give him a chance to explain his side, if you like, his thoughts, his feelings. Give him a chance to see what he says, see if he'll actually apologize and admit that he lied, and maybe get some therapy for actually lying and being dishonest, you know. But it seems not the case. You know, he's not getting therapy for that. So he seems adamant that he can't lie, that he didn't ever lie. And, you know, but clearly, even by saying in his emails that he can't friend anyone at this time when he has done, it's just a lie. And so I feel really deeply saddened by this, you know. I'm quite shocked and disappointed. So, you know, going back to the question, like, should you hear someone out? If someone's been abusive or narcissistic and you've given them chances and they're belittling and you putting you down, then no, you shouldn't hear them out, because there's nothing to hear out. You know what they're like. They've got a track record of abuse or whatever, and you know, there's certain circumstances you just have to go. Like with the guys I was dating last year, I gave them some chances, and it's like, you know, it became abusive situations. And so therefore you have to just get out and cut off. Some people wouldn't, they wouldn't be able to do that, but I've learnt to do that because it's in your best interests. You seem like a woman that suffered a lot of pain in your life. Oh, thank you. I'm saying thank you. Why am I saying thank you for recognizing that? But yeah, I guess pain does make me stronger. But yes, I have experienced a lot of pain, but you know, I don't know if I'm just one of the rare people, but I have been through a lot of trauma constantly. Like I said to my last therapist, is it normal for people just constantly going through trauma all the time? Because that's what my life's like. It honestly is like a book that's a drama and trauma all the time. And to me, it's not usually small. You are strong. You are strong. Thank you. You know, and it's really weird. It's like constant something traumatic is coming up. And it's like, you know, it's not usually small things, it's big things, you know. And so I emailed that I finished my therapy now because I can't have any more sessions at the moment. But you know, like I did, she said if you got any more questions, like in her last email to me when she basically said goodbye, then she said, if you got any more questions, just like, you know, put them down. So I did ask about, is it normal for someone to keep going through trauma like this? Because to me, it just like never ends. And I don't think it's quite normal. So she messaged back saying, oh, well, it's, you know, kind of normal for people to go through little traumas, you know, well, go through difficult times, which people may see as little traumas or not really a trauma as such, just difficult times. But she said, you know, but if it's something big like a death and that, you know, that's a bit different because you deal with it in a different way. And like even you're a strong, amazing woman. Thank you, Liam. I appreciate that. So even at the last asexual meetup, something that was really I found it traumatic because I'm an empathetic person and I feel people's pain. And when we were at the asexual meetup, I had to, it was a place of my accident, if you want to know. So where I have my accident with my ankle, I broke my ankle in the car park of where our last asexual meetup was, because I'd already organised a meetup for that venue. So I couldn't like not go. So anyway, that was a bit like interesting in itself, but I was prepared for that because usually I like the venue. So I've previously had good memories there. But this particular time we went to the asexual meetup, they ended up outside having an ambulance, police officers, and defibrillator, and basically this person was taken away in a body bag. So someone died there outside. I think it's outside, either in the building round the back of it or outside itself, because the people went outside and you saw the black body bag and the silhouette of the person that was obviously laid in there dead, and it was horrible. And I'm thinking, and when the woman, the therapist happened to message me back after that incident saying, well, if it, you know, like if it's difficult situations where you can use these techniques to get over it, but if it's something traumatic like a death, and I'm like, well, I'm glad you emailed me now, because actually this has just happened, this death, you know what I mean? That to me was quite traumatic, because it's like, I hope your ankle's better now. Well, in terms of my ankle, Liam, it was getting better because I've been doing the exercises, but tonight because I've been in so much emotional pain and crying, I've been getting stabbing pains in it, and so it's in a lot of more pain tonight again now, because emotions affect my fibromyalgia really badly. They make it flare up, and so when I get emotional pain, I ultimately get much more body pain. And this particular time, that the pain's gone to my ankle really bad, and I've been getting like stabbing pains like this while I've been trying to do anything at some training course on the computer. I did speaker boot camp, if you remember, several weeks ago, but I missed one evening because I went to the LGBT play at that point with another asexual, and so I missed a lot of the boot camp. And so it wasn't until afterwards they've sent the actual training course, put it up on Teachable as a study course. So I'm doing day one, and I haven't seen hardly any of. But I've been really difficult to do that, and while I've been trying to do that, I've had my boot on, and I've just been getting stabbing pains, and a lot of pain in my ankle, my injury, and that's because I'm so upset, it's like I feel like saying to this person, well, I did say to them, it's kind of like, do you not realize how much I care about you? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, and they say, oh, one final thing, be happy always. It's like, well, I'm not happy at the moment because I'm really upset. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, it's been a really difficult day, and I think there are certain cases like this particular one where you can hear someone out, but a lot of the time when you hear someone out, they're there to persuade you that what they did wasn't wrong, and so you have to keep that in mind, that sometimes it's better not to hear a person out. Sorry that's happening to you. Thank you, Liam. Sometimes it's better not to hear a person out if you know they're purposely going to persuade you to kind of like go back and talk to them, or go back and be their friend, or go back into a relationship with them if you know they're no good for you. And so definitely any narcissist and abusers, you don't want them to convince you to go back into the relationship again and give them another chance, because they just keep getting away with the bad behaviour. Do you see what I mean? So in those cases, you mustn't do that. But it can work that way with friendship as well. I mean, there gets a point where, this person it's not the first time they've not been honest about this type of thing, And so for me, it's like, I can't keep being friends with someone who I don't trust and is not being totally honest. And so, you know what I mean? That's why I've had to kind of end it. But, part of me still wants to cling to the friendship, because it's like, well, I've been friends with them for years, and then my mind's trying to logic out, well, it could be worse what they lied about, but it's like, they lied, Sandra, they're still lying. What's the point in being friends with someone when they're not telling the truth and they don't even realize it? Because you can't work on a friendship when they won't even acknowledge what they've done. Do you know what I mean? There's like nothing really to work with anymore. You know what I mean? Because they obviously don't see that they've done anything wrong at all. And so, what can you work on with that? There's nothing to work on, is there? It's not like he's saying, I'm really, really sorry, I'm going to talk to the therapist about it, because clearly I have a problem and I didn't mean to hurt you, and I'm going to sort it out, and then go off for however long and sort out the problem. He's just completely denying that he lied. And so, it's just sad. Especially when I know he's honest about some other stuff. And I know there are good things about him, and he's included me a lot in his life in the past, and he was sharing a lot of my stuff, I mean, if any woman was his friend on there, she would have thought, and maybe if she did fancy him, she'd be like, well, there's no way he's going to be interested in me, because his page is just full of profiles, just full of this girl called Sandra. And that's all he ever talks about, really, or shares about. Well, he doesn't really talk about me. He shared all my stuff. And the majority of time, that's what he was doing. And so, from that point of view, it's kind of like, obviously he must have really liked me to be doing that. So it's a really difficult one. But I do think, like, in this circumstance, it's good to hear someone. I think if it helps you to heal, then it can be a good thing. But with narcissists and abusers, I would say no, because I've learnt the hard way in the past when I had really bad abusive ex, and he used to just convince me to go back to him, or to carry on being with him, and he used to switch from really, really swearing at me in the street, being mega abusive, following me all the way down to my home, because at this point I was living separately from him, shouting in the street, really nasty stuff, to the fact he got near my home, and then by the time he got near my home, it's all switch. I'm really sorry, come on babes, come on, you know I love you, mwah, 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 mwah. You know what I mean? And it's just horrible. And so, you know, I know that if I'd have carried on, you know, he always used to persuade me to go back because of how I felt about him, because of the strength of the LOVE I felt for him, you know, was just so strong and magnetizing that I couldn't really let him go. And so that was very abusive for years, because, you know, I didn't have the courage. And also he used to stalk me, and I had to get the police involved. It was all really weird stuff going on. But yeah, anyway, but the police didn't even deter him, so it didn't work. So anyway, yeah, so I learnt with, you know, any guy who's abusive, narcissistic, that type of thing, you know, you just have to cut off from them, go cold turkey, which is really difficult, because, you know, if not, they will persuade you to go back to them. Categorically, they will, every single time. And they will use persuasive language, they will use emotional stuff, they will literally switch their gears. They will literally switch from the horrible guy to the really sweet, innocent, love you lots, can't live without you guy. And it's just horrible. And so in those circumstances, you need to go cold turkey and just literally cut off from those type of people completely. A lot of the time, I think you have to cut off completely quite a lot of the time anyway, to be honest. But, you know, some circumstances, it depends. Obviously, if you've got children with a person, you kind of need to, like, talk to that person then. A lot of the time, to sort custody out and stuff. I don't have kids, so there's none of that type of thing to deal with. But obviously, this guy I was friends with, not in a relationship with, but he expressed attraction for me, and I expressed attraction for him. And I'm sure if he had have been in the UK, things might have been different. I don't know if I would have ever been in an actual relationship with him if he'd been in the UK, but it's possible that could have happened. But it depends if he really did like me in that way, and if he had come over here, like, really did like me, or if he was just using that as an excuse to come to UK. You are part of LGBT, even you are heteromantic, you are still a part of LGBT. Saying you're not because you are heteromantic. Did I say I'm not LGBT? I don't know when I said that in this conversation, Liam. I don't know when I said that in this conversation. But yeah, I don't remember saying that in this conversation. What is that? You're talking about a previous video I've done, or what? Because I didn't bring up. Did I bring up LGBT stuff? I don't think I did in this conversation. This guy supports LGBT plus stuff, which is why he was sharing my stuff. You know, I've done other videos about LGBT plus and saying that I don't feel I quite fit in there, me personally, because I'm heteromantic. But I'm not sure what that's got to do with this video, because I haven't been talking about LGBT stuff in this video as far as I can remember. I don't know if I said in the previous video that my friend supported LGBT plus, which is why he supported me, because I'm asexual, and obviously on the, you know, the asexual is part of the spectrum, whether I like it or not. So yeah, and he was good about supporting LGBT plus things. You know, so yeah. But you know, it's, and the ex I was talking about, that was my heterosexual ex. Before I knew I was asexual. So yeah, that was back in the day when I was leading a sexual life. But my friend that I've had to let go, he's always known me as asexual. He used to do a lot of LGBT stuff, but then when he created his second profile, he didn't do much apart from support me, from what I could see. It was all posts about me, so that was really nice of him. But like I said, if he's not telling the truth about randomly friend requesting women, I just think it's not good, you know. Because, you know, my friends don't want a guy who they don't even know friend requesting them randomly. I mean, why do it? It's just not good. I don't think guys are good who go around doing that personally. You know, like there should be some sort of reason. These people aren't, you know, these people are not LGBT people, as far as I know. Well, obviously, one of them is my asexual friend that was on here. Well, I don't know. I think they're asexual. I'm not completely sure, actually, but they're on this channel. But anyway, they didn't even know they're my friend because I don't think they could see they're my friend. So that's how I found out they were friend requesting random women, because they didn't know they were my friend. You know, but the other person, the coach, could see it. No, I just hear a lot of people saying heteromantic people don't belong in LGBT. Oh, right. Okay, Liam, you're switching to a different conversation. Yeah. I mean, heteromantic people who, so basically anyone who's asexual is part of LGBT plus community. Because A stands for asexual, though there's debate on that. Me personally, I don't quite feel I quite fit in, because obviously I'm attracted to the opposite gender or sex, and I consider myself a straight asexual. I did a video about this, because I mean straight to mean the attracted to the opposite gender or sex. Some people mean straight as in they're heterosexual, but I'm a straight asexual. That's why I say I'm a hetero asexual. It's just a lot easier. But someone actually who watches my channel took that and said that they created the word. It's like, well, no, you saw it on my channel, actually. Like, I saw them in their video and I commented. I'm like, well, actually, you saw that on my channel, because I was the one who came up with that first. And they're like, oh, yeah, I watched your channel. I'm like, yes, that's where you got it from. So, but yeah, anyway, so in terms of like, should you hear someone out? I think it really depends on the circumstances. I think it depends on the type of friendship or relationship you've got. I think it depends on the history you have together and what's going to be most beneficial to you in the long run. Is it going to be most beneficial to hear them out, so it's kind of a healing thing? Or is it going to be a case of, if they weren't a good person, to, you know, that they would try and get you back? Like, this guy is not a bad person, like an abuser or anything like that. He's not that type of guy. You know, so he's not going to be like that, you know, which is good. So that's why I wanted to hear him out, because, you know, there are good qualities about him, but I'm just really sad that I've had to give up a friend, well, a guy I thought was a friend, who I care about deeply, and it feels like, you know, like heartbreaking, but in a deep friendship way. It feels like, you know, like you're having to tear yourself away from someone who has kind of, you felt, have been like a rock to you over the years in lots of ways. But if you can't totally trust them, then it's kind of like, what's the point in going forward with that friendship if you can't trust them anymore? So it's really difficult. You know, in a fairy tale world, in a fairy tale world, if this was a movie, you know, it would be a case of, he'd realise like he wasn't being completely honest, and he'd do the therapy and do the work to realise that, and think, why is he actually doing that, and why can't he be more honest? And, you know, after he's done all that, come back and say, I'm really sorry, Sandra, I realised I wasn't telling you the truth, and I'm sorry I hurt you, you know, and I'm going to be a better person because I know that I wasn't being the best person I could be before, you know. But yeah, I guess a little part of me's always thought about, well, I have always thought about having a relationship with this guy over the years, you know, because he is Indian and I've always got on well overall with him, and I have met some of his family, and he has included me a lot in his life, and he's kind of always been there for me a lot. And so, you know, I have had aesthetic and romantic attraction for him. And so, you know, like, it's really difficult because I have to try and decide, like, when I can't, you know, like, to let him go from my life. And when I'm crying, I'm having to analyze, like, is this friendship love, or is it any romantic love in there? Because I am romantically and aesthetically attracted to him, or is this just a really deep friendship love I'm feeling, that I'm feeling like it's being torn away, like I'm having to tear myself away, or what is this type of feeling for him? It's really difficult to actually assess that, because obviously if you do actually love someone on a healthy way, you love them as a friend as well. So it's kind of really hard, but if it is love, it's not the same type as I would usually feel romance wise, because for me it's kind of like a deep friendship, love, bond, and care with romantic and aesthetic attraction attached to it, rather than it being a deep romantic love with aesthetic attraction and friendship connection. So for me, it's kind of like the foundation is the friendship, the love part is the friendship. It's like I love this person as my friend. And so letting that go is really difficult, because I did really value the friendship a lot, even though they weren't completely honest with me. But my trust was like diminished somewhat when he friended my coach friend, and then now it's just been diminished further, because it makes no sense why you'd be friending these women, if it was not for something that isn't good, but he's saying it was good intentions. But then he's denying he even friended them. So I mean, it's kind of a bit contradictory as well, which isn't good. But it's hard, because I do feel some bond, deep friendship, deep care, and some type of love, I think, for this person. And so it's really heart-wrenching and heartbreaking, and it's like I didn't expect them to not be in my life. I always kind of thought they would be in my life forever, I guess, in some way. I never thought they wouldn't be. And so like, to have to do this now is pretty shocking for me. But it's kind of like, well, I'm fed up with lies and like dishonesty, and I don't know what to believe anymore. So you don't really leave me a choice. And plus, I can't have you as my Facebook friend anymore, because I can't have you friending my women friends. It's not fair on them. And he's deleted all his profile now. He said, because he said that it was only there like to promote my work. He was friending people to just promote my work, because he wanted to make me happy, and it was good intentions towards me. And so because I didn't believe him, he's just deleted his whole Facebook profile and says he doesn't have another one, which obviously would indicate that maybe he was telling the truth in that way. But then why lie and say I wasn't friending people, I couldn't friend someone right now, when he did? In one hand he's saying I've not friended anyone, on the other hand he's saying, and then he turned around and said, well, if I have friended anyone, it's only been to promote your stuff. It's kind of like very contradictory, and then he's like, oh, at this time I can't friend anyone because I'm in therapy. And it's like, well, clearly you can, because you did. And so yeah, it's really kind of like, I know he's saying that he hasn't contacted any women, like messaging and resources to try and get money or get a job abroad from them. It's very interesting, actually, you mentioned money, though, because when I first met him, he was going around trying to friend request women, like I said, and not being a good guy, to get a job and stuff, but he didn't actually bring up money then. So very interesting, he's brought up money now, so clearly he's probably after that years ago as well. So it's like, has he really changed or not? But the fact he's not telling the truth, it just means that you can't trust him totally, It's sad, really sad. Because I care deeply about this guy, obviously, So, there you go. Sometimes you hear people out, sometimes you don't. But just hearing someone out doesn't mean to say you're going to end up back in a friendship or back in a relationship with that person. It might help you to heal, or it might just cause more anguish, upset, and pain, Sometimes cold turkey is the best thing, other times it's not. So you have to judge for yourself. But I would definitely say, if the person's abusive or narcissistic, you get the hell out of that, and you do not contact them again. You block them, because they will always try and convince you to go back, because they blur your sense of reality, and they make you think that they're a good person after all, And so, I just can't totally trust this person anymore. I haven't been able to totally trust them for a while, and they knew that. But it's just broken my trust even more. So I guess I just have to move on. But it's not easy when I cared so much about them, I've got a lot of memories with this person, online memories, the only Indian guy that's really let me fully into their life, I feel, with like, you know, meeting some of their family and stuff like that. I have met years ago, I used to have the Indian friend that I met his friends. But this is the only Indian guy that's like completely like not cared what others think and just really embraced me into his family and friends scenario, you know. That's why I thought he really cared about me. I even thought he probably likes me more than a friend when he's doing that, you know. Um, and so I just think it's so sad he's done this. You know, I kind of saw him always in my future somewhere, somehow. And now I don't think that's going to be the case. So anyway, I guess it is what it is. And yeah, I'm getting tearful again now. Oh, it's always difficult, isn't it? You know, losing a friendship is one of the hardest things ever to do. Especially when you've been friends for years. Like, what, 3 or 4 years? It's a really hard thing to do. And I used to hear from this person pretty much every day, either in comments and private messages, both, you know. And so they've been in my life a lot throughout the years, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad. I'm just hoping I'll get over it. You know, well, I think, you know, if you're an asexual who's ever had to let a friendship go, you know how much it hurts, right? And if you have been attracted to that person as more than a friend, then it hurts twice as much, doesn't it? You know, it's like ripping your heart out a bit, you know? I mean, obviously it's a bit different to a romantic relationship, but it's very similar, you know? Very similar, but not completely the same. Like, in terms of like a romantic relationship, I mean, that feels like your heart's being completely ripped out of the socket. like, and like, you know, like really ripped out the socket and pulled right out of you and miles away. Where this friendship, it feels like my heart's broken in two more, but still with me, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's kind of really sad. You know, like part of me doesn't know what to do. I'm like, well, there's nothing you can do, Sandra. If the person is saying they don't lie and clearly they did, and they're not willing to see that, there's nothing you can do. You can't change the person, can't make them see what they don't see. And, you know, if they cared that much, they probably would want to see it, but obviously they don't. So yeah, anyway, you know, it is what it is, but so I would say use your judgment. But if you know, if the person's narcissistic or abusive, don't even think twice about blocking them and going cold turkey straight away. Don't hear them out anymore, because you know what's coming. It was the same type of thing, you know. That's why last year with the 2 guys last year, I gave them the chances. You know, they said things that weren't good, and you know, like the first one like chopped and changed their mind all the time, up and down like a yo-yo. Really upset and painful it was for me. And in the end, they messed me around so much, and then they were like, oh well, I'll just be friends with you for a few months and then we can pick up where we left off. And I'm like, no. And so then I had to just block them, because I'm not being messed around like that. And then with the other person, obviously it was no good. I had to just leave immediately because they were laughing at my expense, and I realised I was the one doing all the work, and you know, that they were just going to leave me like that. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just leave your life, no problem. And so, you know, you have to go in those circumstances. You know, if someone's threatening to leave you, you have to go, because if you don't, they'll always have a control and hold over you. No healthy individual goes around going, oh right, I'm gonna leave you now. They don't, you know, for no reason. You know, just because they find it funny and because it's a power and control thing, you know, that they don't do that. You know, so in those circumstances, you know, like, you have to just go. I came here to get away from my heterosexual abusive ex years ago. He threatened to leave me, but not just threatened, he'd been around looking at flats to leave me. Someone at work told me he'd be doing that. He saw, I bet, I don't know how they knew this, but they saw, I bet he's, because we had an argument. They saw, I bet he's at home now, got his bag packed, gonna leave you. And I'm like, oh, you'd never do that to me, because we've been together for quite a while. year and a half, I think it was then, and or nearly that. And they're like, oh, he's not going to do that. And then when I went home, his bags were packed and he'd been looking at places behind my back to move out. So then I ended up just leaving, finding this place here and moving here. It's the best decision I ever made in my life. But we still ended up, we split up for 6 months and ended up getting back together for 7 years, which was bad. But we didn't live together after that, so that was good. I'm glad I never lived with him again. But that's how come I ended up here, because I just had to leave because he was going to leave me anyway. You can't be secure in a relationship with someone like that. It's controlling, manipulative behavior, and you just have to go. Because you don't want to be in that position that's unstable and insecure. But with someone who's not being abusive or narcissistic, and someone who's shown you some compassion, friendship, and shown you good aspects to them, it is worth sometimes, depending on how you feel, to talk things through. If they come and say, want to explain, if they don't want to even bother to try and attempt to explain, then I wouldn't bother with them. But because this guy wanted to explain to me, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And well, it wasn't really a benefit of doubt because I knew that he'd not told the truth. But anyway, I let him say what he needed to say, and I said some stuff back about how I felt, and that was good that I at least got to say that to him. But it's really sad to not be able to move forward in a friendship anymore with this person. It's kind of like, what, is it just going to be over forever now? That's it, is it? I suppose I just have to think that, other people will come into my life that will be honest with me and won't lie whatsoever. Not even a little lie. Because I do deserve someone who will never lie to me, who can be completely honest, both as a friend or as a partner. Like, my friends don't lie to me. Like, none of my best friends and close friends lie to me. And, that's important to me. My best asexual friend are completely honest. I had an asexual meetup in my Asexualise Academy club on Sunday. I would love to be friends with you. You're an amazing person and friends to have. Oh, thank you, Liam. That's really nice. Thank you. So, like, I had an asexual meetup in my Asexualise Academy club, which is like a small coaching club for asexuals, and we do meetups there once a month or more, sometimes twice a month. So you make sure you get a meetup. And we had a 2-hour meetup. There was just me and one other person. And this person's a dear friend. I've met them in person before, and they're completely honest as well. They don't lie at all. And if they got into a relationship, they'd never cheat as well, because they're not that type of person. Because I was having a chat with them saying, there's so many dishonest people, people who just can't tell the full truth, and who are not faithful, and so, yeah, I was talking to them about this friend I've had to let go as well, saying I was really sad, but I was just saying in general as well, that there seems to be such dishonesty. Like, I keep getting people who can't be fully honest, and it's like, what's going on with that? Why it feels like, you're being constantly let down, if you know what I mean, which isn't very good. It's like, there's got to be some honest people in the world, and I'm sure there is. But especially because I have honest friends. So yeah, this guy I was talking to last night in my academy club, he is completely honest in terms of friendship and relationship. He doesn't lie at all. So I guess I hadn't really thought so much about this person until I was having a chat with them and thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, but you're really honest. You're not like that at all. So yeah, so I'm like, oh, there's another honest person in the world, so I think we have to remember that not everyone's like these people. But I am really disappointed that it's turned out this way with my friend. I'm still saying the word friend because I find it hard not to. So yeah, it's disappointing, it's upsetting, it's devastating, to be honest. I wish she told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But you know, it is what it is. And so we just have to like grieve, I guess, in these situations, try and come to terms with what's happened, realize that we probably need to just keep moving on. And unless something really changes and they realize what they've done and they want to change, then there's nothing we can do, because we either put up with the way they are, knowing that they're not telling the full truth sometimes, or we decide that our standards are higher than that and that's not what we want in our life, so we have to leave that situation, that person. But it's hard because I see so much good in this person as well, you know, and so many ways they have supported me as well. So it's really hard, you know, and I do have some feelings, strong, really strong feelings for this, like friendship, love, or something. I haven't worked out completely what it is, but deep, deep, deep care for this person, you know. I probably will miss them as well, you know, so it's hard. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. I know it's been a bit emotional. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you found any value in it, it's been helpful at all. If you're going through a similar thing, I understand your pain. It's really difficult. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. I want to wish you all the love, friendship, care, honesty in the world, and hope that everyone you meet in your life has got got your best interests at heart rather than their own, or their best interest is your best interest, should I say, as well. You know, I want you to be happy. I want you to have healthy, loving, committed friendships and a relationship if that's what you want as well. I want you to have the most honest people around you who only be honest with you categorically. They just cannot lie, and that is the truth. And I wish everyone to find the friends of their life, the friends of their dreams, and the love of their life, you know? I really do. And yeah, I wish the best for this friend, or this person that I've called my friend for years. I really do. It's going to be difficult for him not being in my life anymore. But anyway, I love you and leave you for now. Subscribe, hit that bell icon. I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Bye. Bye. See you soon.